We are talking about the 2010 horror movie, The Shrine. This one is directed and co-written by John Knutz, who was responsible for Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer and also the more recent slasher movie, The Cleaning Lady, a movie that I actually quite enjoyed. And this one stars Aaran, Ashmore and Cindy Sampson. Now, I haven't seen the movie Midsummer, but I would imagine, from what I understand of that film, this would make a good companion piece to it, because it does sound like at least the setup is somewhat similar, albeit this one has definitely more of a supernatural element to it. So what we have three American journalists. I'm not sure if they're American or Canadian, I can never tell the accent, but who knows? I think they're meant to be American, but they're on the kind of the hunt of this big story that one of the kind of journalists feels like she sniffed out. There's a variety of people that have gone missing year after year in Poland, in this kind of rural area of Poland. And the latest victim, they find a diary kind of giving some information about maybe what's gone on. So our three journalists head off to kind of rural Poland, and they are greeted by some weird locals who seem very hostile towards them. But the weirdest thing seems to be a large plume of mist that seems to be emanating straight up from the forest. And of course, as Americans often do in movies, they kind of go in and have a look while they are uninvited. And within this mist seems to be some mysterious statue that may be emanating some type of supernatural power. What happens? You'll have to check out the movie yourself. So let's discuss, first of all, what I liked about The Shrine. First off, I actually really enjoyed this movie. This is a solid, creepy horror movie. Now, your preconceptions about what may be going on with this movie may change as the movie progresses. But what I liked about it is that it has some genuinely creepy moments. So about halfway through the film, this is where we get to see the shrine of the title, which is housed in this kind of misty kind of area. And that sequence in itself is super creepy. Now, obviously, it's 10 years old at this point, so some of the kind of the green screen effects in regards to the mist and the CGI and stuff is a little bit wonky now, but nonetheless, I still feel it creates a very kind of spooky atmosphere. And the sequence involving the actual shrine itself, I thought was expertly handled and genuinely creepy, and gives you the chills, and you'll feel the kind of the hair standing on the back of your neck. Really, really good stuff. And then from there, the tension gradually builds and builds and builds, and gets to a surprisingly gory climax. There's a lot of gore here, and it's all practical and done to an extremely high standard. In actual fact, I was surprised how kind of like action-packed, for lack of a better word, the finale actually was. I quite enjoyed the cast here. I mean, no one's going to be kind of winning any Oscars, clearly, for this movie, but nonetheless, I actually thought they did a fine job here, albeit I felt somewhat selfish motivations for our kind of central character. But, you know, we can't always be flawless human beings, I suppose. Now, according to IMDb, this movie was actually filmed in Canada, but I thought they do a good approximation of Eastern Europe here, having all the kind of the villages obviously speaking in Polish, and from the cast list, it looks like they have obviously got some kind of Polish extras and kind of like supporting actors here, along with the kind of the Canadian actors here who are speaking Polish, to give you that feel that this movie really is set in, Eastern Europe, and there's obviously lots of kind of set design and, rustic kind of clothes and stuff like that, weird religious symbols that I feel do a good job here of relating this kind of, out of the way religious sect that in the middle of kind of Poland somewhere. I really enjoyed the tension. I thought the finale was actually good. There was a twist in the movie that I did see coming about halfway through the movie, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, I feel the movie, it does a good job of kind of maybe pulling the wool out for at least for some people. And I feel the movie also doesn't tell you all of the information, but enough to keep you satisfied. But you wonder, you want to know more. You kind of like, you're intrigued. You wish you could know more about the story leading up to this point, shall we say. Okay, so what doesn't work for this movie? As I've mentioned, the movie is maybe a little bit aged now. Some of the kind of the CGI effects just have kind of aged out of looking particularly kind of good these days. And also, as I've mentioned, I feel that certainly our central female protagonist is her motivations are very selfish, and she uses her distrust to get the other two people to do what she wants. So ultimately, she is a little bit unlikable. So and she is our kind of to a point our central protagonist. So you can't help but feel a little bit of dislike for her. Although I think the actress does what she can to kind of soften the role here as much as she can. The main issue I have with this movie is maybe some elements of the script here. For example, without kind of going into any spoilers, our three kind of reporters come across this plume of mist. They don't know what it is. It looks really weird, and the locals are very adamant they shouldn't go there. Now, you know, we know that it's kind of supernatural origin, but my first reaction would be, I would think it's some type of toxic kind of gas. But, you know, obviously they go in anyway without kind of a second thought. And it just seems like the script is making people do dumb decisions like splitting up for no apparent reason and things like this. And there's a sequence where someone escapes, but I mean in the actual movie it doesn't end up being a problem, but nonetheless, you know, you have people escaping from someone and not dealing with that person as you think you probably would, if that makes sense. So the script here, I feel, is a little lazy in places and just has elements of plot convenience. But overall, this is a really creepy movie that I think does a good job delivering on some genuine sort of chills, some unsettling moments, and for everyone who's into kind of like the more gory moments, this will be you'll be satisfied at the end. However, there are actual moments of quite violent scenes throughout the movie, although a lot of it is kind of masked, that's all I'll say. There's also some fairly decent kind of practical effects in regards to kind of like monster makeup and stuff like that. This is a decent movie, I would say. I can't see many people really not liking this one, outside of a few kind of like just typical issues that you'll get with films for conveniences and a little bit of, it's just aged a little bit now. But I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment. And I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.